Hello kids! How are you today? I hope you're doing great. I am Teacher Angie. Welcome to another wonderful learning opportunity in Math 5. For today's episode, we will learn how to find the missing term in a pair of equivalent ratios. Kids, some terms that we will encounter along the way are the following: GCF, multiple, and ratio. Can you still remember the meaning of these terms? Great! GCF, or the greatest common factor, is also called the highest common factor, the greatest number that is a factor of two or more numbers. Multiple is a product of any given whole number and another whole number, while ratio is a quantitative relation between two amounts showing the number of times one value contains or is contained within the other. I am glad that you can still recall the meaning of these terms. Now, let's try to answer this review activity. Directions: read and analyze the statement in each item. Then, choose the letter of the correct answer. You will be given 10 seconds to answer each item. Are you ready? Let's start! Number 1. Find the GCF of 90 and 18. A. 10, B. 9, C. 18, D. 28. If you answered C, you are correct. This is how we solve. To find the greatest common factor, or GCF, of 90 and 18, first step is to list the common factors of 90 and 18, then identify the GCF. Solution. In first column, number. Second column, common factors. Third column, factors. 90. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 15, 18, 30, 45, 90. 1 times 90 is equal to 90. 2 times 45 is equal to 90. 3 times 30 is equal to 90. 5 times 18 is equal to 90. 6 times 15 is equal to 90. 18. 1, 2, 9, 3, 6, 18. 1 times 18 is equal to 18. 2 times 9 is equal to 18. 3 times 6 is equal to 18. The GCF is equal to 18. Number 2. All of the ratios below are equivalent to 7:8, except A. 21 is to 24, B. 35 is to 40, C. 6 is to 7, D. 14 is to 16. Yes, the correct answer is C. 6 is to 7. Because when we find the multiples of the given ratio to make equivalent ratios of 7 is to 8, we do it like this. 7 times 3 over 8 times 3 is equal to 21 over 24. 7 times 2 over 8 times 2 is equal to 14 over 16. 7 times 5 over 8 times 5 is equal to 35 over 40. 7 over 8 is not equal to 6 over 7. Therefore, all of the ratios are equivalent to 7 is to 8 except 6 is to 7. Number 3. What is the equivalent ratio of 2 is to 3 is to 5? A. 16 is to 24 is to 40. B. 5 is to 3 is to 2. C. 6 is to 15 is to 20. D. 2 is to 3 is to 4. A. Good job! It is A. We find also the multiples of the given ratio to make equivalent ratios. Let us multiply 2, 3, and 5 by 8. 2 times 8 is equal to 16. 3 times 8 is equal to 24. 5 times 8 is equal to 40. So, the equivalent ratio of 2 is to 3 is to 5 is letter A. 16 is to 24 is to 40. Number 4. Express the ratio 29 over 45 into column form. A. 45 is to 29. B. 74 is to 45. C. 29 is to 45. D. 45 is to 29. C. Correct! The ratio of 29 over 45 in column form is 29 is to 45. It is because ratio can be written in fraction form and in column form. Fraction form 29 over 45. Column form 29 over 45. And number 5. What is the missing term in the ratio 9 is to 11 as 18 is to A. 6, B. 11, C. 22, D. 12. C. Good job, kids! To solve, we do it this way. 9 is to 11 as 18 is to 9 over 11 is equal to 18 over n. 18 divided by 9 is equal to 2. Since the numerators are complete, we divide them. This means that 2 is a multiplier. Then, the remaining term is 11. We multiply it by 2 to get 22. Therefore, the missing term is 22. 9 times 2 is equal to 18. 11 times 2 is equal to 22. What is your score? Wow! I know you did great in this activity. This time, you are ready to listen attentively and to understand the concept of finding the missing term in a pair of equivalent ratios. Kids, look at this picture. Do the passengers observe social distancing? Yes, they do. Social distancing is observing a safe space. It means physical distancing. It is keeping 1 meter distance from one person to another in a group in order to limit the spread of COVID-19 virus. At this time of pandemic, only 50% of vehicles' capacity is allowed to board. Kids, listen as I read to you this word problem. John rides a bus every day in going to work. Each bus is allowed to accommodate a maximum of 15 passengers to observe social distancing. How many buses are needed for 45 passengers? Again, read with me. John rides a bus every day in going to work. Each bus is allowed to accommodate a maximum of 15 passengers to observe social distancing. How many buses are needed for 45 passengers? Get your paper and try to follow the methods used in finding the missing term in a pair of equivalent ratios. Take note that the number of passengers allowed for each bus is 15. Since there are 15 passengers, how many buses are needed? Correct! Very good, kids! 3 buses are needed for 45 passengers. How did you find the answer? To find the missing term, we will solve the equivalent ratios using 2 methods. Method number 1, cross multiplication. Method number 2, multiplication of extremes and means. Method number 1, cross multiplication. Solution number 1. 1 over 15 is equal to n over 45. 45 divided by 15, n is equal to 3. Solution number 2. 1 times 45 is equal to 15n. 45 is equal to 15n. 45 over 15 is equal to 15n over 15. N is equal to 3. In solution number 1, we do the cross multiplication to get the equivalent fraction, wherein 1 times 45 is equal to 45. 15 times n is equal to 15n. In order to get the value of n, we divide 45 by 15. Therefore, n is equal to 3. In solution number 2, we do cross multiplication to get the equivalent fraction, wherein 1 times 45 is equal to 15n. 45 is equal to 15n. 45 over 15 is equal to 15n over 15. N is equal to 3. The number multiplied to the missing term serves as the denominator of the equivalent fractions. Simplify the fraction by canceling numerator and denominator where are divisible by one number. In order to get the value of n, we divide 45 by 15. Therefore, n is equal to 3. Here is another method. Method number 2. Multiplication of extremes and means. 15 times n is equal to 15n. 1 is to 15 as n is to 45. 1 times 45 is equal to 45. 15n is equal to 45. 15n over 15 is equal to 45 over 15. N is 3. In solution number 2, we write the fractions in column form. 1 is to 15 as n is to 45. Then, we multiply the extremes, first and last, 1 times 45, and the means, second and third, 15 times n. The number multiplied to the missing term serves as the denominator of the equivalent fractions. Simplify the fractions by canceling numerator and denominator, which are divisible by one number. In order to get the value of n, we divide 45 by 15. So, the missing term n is 3. Therefore, 3 buses are needed for 45 passengers. Let's try another activity. Find the missing term of each equivalent ratios. Then, choose the letter of the correct answer from the box. You will be given 15 seconds to answer each item. All set? Let's start! Number 1. H is to 6 as 20 is to 24. A. 6. B. 22. C. 8. D. 5. D. Correct! Letter D is the answer. Here's the solution. H is to 6 as 20 is to 24. First, multiply the extremes, first and last. H times 24 is equal to 24n. Second, multiply the means, second and third. 6 times 20 is equal to 120. In order to get the value of H, divide 120 by 24. So, the missing term H is 5. Number 2. 44 is to 72 as X is to 36. A. 6. B. 22. C. 8. D. 3. B. If you answered B, good job! Solution. 44 is to 72 as X is to 36. Multiply the extremes. 44 times 36 is equal to 1,584. Multiply the means. 72 times X is equal to 72X. Divide 1,584 by 72, the number multiplied to the missing term. Therefore, x is equal to 22. Number 3. 3 is to 4 as 12 is to f. A. 6, B. 22, C. 8, D. 16. D. 16. If you answered D, you are correct. 3 is to 4 as 12 is to f. Multiply the extremes. 3 times f is equal to 3f. Multiply the means. 4 times 12 is equal to 48. Divide 48 by 3, the number multiplied to the missing term. Therefore, f is equal to 16. Number 4. 2 is to 3 as s is to 12. A. 6, B. 22, C. 8, D. 3. C. 8. Yes, C is the answer. 2 is to 3 as s is to 12. Multiply the extremes. 2 times 12 is equal to 24. Multiply the means. 3 times s is equal to 3s. Divide 24 by 3, the number multiplied to the missing term. Therefore, s is equal to 8. And number 5. 3 is to 7 as p is to 14. A. 6, B. 22, C. 8, D. 3. A. Yes, A. Correct. Here's the solution. 3 is to 7 as p is to 14. Multiply the extremes. 3 times 14 is equal to 42. Multiply the means. 7 times p is equal to 7p. Divide 42 by 7, the number multiplied to the missing term. Therefore, p is equal to 6. Let me ask you again. What are the methods that are commonly used in finding the missing term in a pair of equivalent ratios? Very good! The methods that are commonly used in finding the missing term in a pair of equivalent ratios are the cross multiplication and multiplication of extremes and means. Take note that number 1, the number multiplied to the missing term serves as the denominator of the equivalent fractions. And number 2, simplify the fractions by canceling numerator and denominator, which are divisible by one number. Congratulations! You have just reached the end of our session. Now you've learned how to find the missing term in a pair of equivalent ratios. You can review this video through our YouTube channel. Search Aral TV Deped Leyte, click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for the latest updates. This is your teacher Angie reminding you to study well because life is what we make it. Goodbye!